Hi again folks, how you all doing? This is a Bachmann 3MT locomotive that was sent to me by a chap called Chris. He told me that it was making a squeaky metallic sound. So we'll turn on the power and see what it does. Okay, so I'm not really hearing what Chris describes as a squeaky metallic sound there. I'm hearing a sort of a slight rattle, and maybe a slight faint grinding noise, but nothing that I would be too concerned about. What I'm concerned about with this is its slow speed performance. If I just try and run this slowly, you maybe can't really see that there, but it's lurching a little bit. Let's just try that again. Come on. Yeah, it's not... I think it should be running smoother than it does, but I'm not hearing a squeak. But we'll get it into the shed and we'll take it to bits and see what's what. Okie dokie, we shall get a look at this. Nice model actually, I have to say. Very detailed. It's weathered. Oh, blimey. Yeah, there's an awful lot of oil under there. So maybe it's been getting oiled to try and get rid of whatever weird sound it was making. I'm going to put this on the test track just now because on my layout I couldn't really hear too much of a problem. There's a sort of clicking sound, but you know, I didn't really think it was too much of an issue. So let's run it backwards first. Just want to see if it makes any sound running on the till. Yeah, going forwards it makes a kind of clicky rattling sound. Right, okay, we shall have a look. Let's pop it in the sponge and we shall undo the screws. Right, is this just going to lift out? There we go. So it's DCC ready with a blanking plate fitted. So I'll certainly have to take that underframe off, clean out that oil. But what I want to do is disengage the motor to see if there's any restriction in movement, or if that clicking noise is coming from the mechanism somewhere, or if it's related to the gears. So we shall have to disengage this motor. How do we do that? Onto this. And does this lift up? Tell me there's another screw in there. Right, unscrew that, and nope, that's not doing it. Alright, I think we're going to have to take the underframe off because apart from that screw there, I don't see any obvious way of removing the motor. Okay, it's absolutely swimming in oil, but the annoying thing is I can't really remove the underframe because the wires leading to the circuit board are soldered to the pickups, and that then goes through the chassis. So the only way to get this off would either be to desolder it where it connects to the pickups, but I can't get in there. So I think the only option is to desolder it from the circuit board. Is it? Aha, there we go. There we are. Yeah, it just kind of comes out with a wiggle. Yeah, there's not an awful lot of lubrication in the gears, so we'll get that lubricated up. Right, but now we've got that motor disengaged, let's just put this back and see if anything is making any noise. Right. Yeah, see, something's causing a problem. So what is it? What's the issue? So it's very difficult to tell what causes the lock, unless you can see anything obvious. It usually is quite obvious once you see it. You've just got to look at every single moving part, every single joint. Is anything catching? Because clearly something is. I can't see anything in the linkages. I'm not ruling it out, but I can't see anything. So I really want to get a look at the gears. So I'm going to have to remove this chip, take the underplate out, to see if we can get this off and get a good look at the gears. So we'll desolder this so we can get it apart and then see if we can figure out what the problem is. For some reason the solder in this circuit board is not melting. There's a wire broken. I think what we'll have to do is just snip the ends of the wire off. I mean, I can put new solder on okay, but that solder is not melting and I don't want to leave the heat on too long because it might do damage to the circuit board. Just snip it right at the end. That. And like that. Gets that out the road. Take that off there. And then we can get that out to through there. Finally. Okay, with the underframe removed, the wheels aren't locking, but I can still feel a little bit of resistance at times. Just there, there. See if you can see this if I turn the wheels. See how that kicks? See? Shouldn't really do that. I turn that way, it's okay. If I turn it this way, see how that kicks up? See? Let's have a look at the gears. We can get this off now because there's a tiny little screw down there I can see. Can I get this down in there? Yep. So now we can get that out and get a good look at the gears. Can't believe I didn't spot this before. It just shows you this piece here moves back and forward just a little bit, but this one isn't, and that's what's causing that to kick. Right, okay, try and explain this. So this rod here isn't moving, and it should move back and forward just very, very slightly. That is then connected to this, which is connected to the crank, and because that's not moving when that's turning, that's kicking. That's what the problem is. I can't believe I didn't spot that before. So this rod has a slot at one end that this piece pokes through, and I think it's jamming, unless I can just get a tiny screwdriver in there and try and open it. Like that. Does that do it? It's moving. There we go. a very, very simple little problem. That took me ages to find, and really I should have noticed it much, much earlier. Oh, jinx, there's one of the little pipes away. So that's all the problem has been, is this, the little slot on the end of this rod wasn't wide enough and it was catching on the lug of this piece, and that stopped it moving, which then restricted the movement of this piece here and was causing the kick on the crank. Anyway, I needed to get the underframe off to get in to clear all this oil up, because there's far too much oil in here. So let's give this a good mop up. Right, I can start thinking about getting this back together now. Let's get this track out of the way. See if we can thread them through some heat shrink. I'm not going to shrink it, at least if I can get them jammed in there. And then jam that into there. Right. So, first of all, manipulate this under those pipes. Like so. And then can we get that green wire down through that hole. Like that. Then that will hopefully, if we do it carefully enough, guide those wires out. Where we want them to go. There. That's how you do that. Just silly. Right, okay, pickups all appear to be in position. That's fine. Okay, we'll screw this underframe back on. Right, okay, we better get this little pipe back in that popped out. Okay, righto, spot a solder on this to get this wire back on. There we go. There. Don't like that at all. Okay. Put some grease on that worm gear. And then we're ready to refit this. Right, so the wire's got to go up through there, like that. That was easy. And then that pops on. And we've got a wee screw. There's my screwdriver. That fits down in there, which I didn't see initially. It's kind of obvious. And then we've got to solder up these two wires to the PCB. So the black wire goes to the back and the red wire goes to that one there at the front. Like that. Right, okay. Once it's there, we need a wee screw. Like that. Okay. Okay, pop it on. Yeah, I think that's a lot better. Doesn't seem to be making that little clicking sound either, so that is all looking very promising. Something I've actually forgotten to do is to oil the bearings on the motor. Where's my oil? So before we get any further, I'll put a wee spot of oil on this back bearing. And I think I can just get in to do that front one. Can I? Maybe not. Yeah, getting through there. Right, where does that spring bit go? I think it goes like that. And then that will go on like that. Yep, okay. I'll do the same with the other one. Actually, no, we'll wait till we've got the body on for that one, I think. Should have done the same with that one. That'll be fine. Right, okay, body. And then we'll get that front bogey on. Something like that. Front screw in. And there we are, done. So there we go, job done. I mean, the actual problem was actually quite simple. It was just a tiny little bit of the valve gear was sticking. I just had to open up that little slot on the end of the rod, and it would then slide back and forward. That's all it was. But you know, we've cleaned out all the excess oil, put some lubrication into the gears because there wasn't much there. So yeah, hopefully this will run nicely. Let's pull it out of the shed and see what happens. Okay then, let's pull her out. That's so much better. So there we go, that's this Bachmann 3MT running much better now. Chris told me that he'd given this locomotive to his club guru, as he described them, but to no avail, so it's been quite self-assuring for me to sort this one out. I'm not sure I ever heard the sound that Chris was describing, but it was definitely making a sort of clicky sound, particularly going forward. And it was all down to that little rod not being able to move. Just this top rod here. It wasn't able to move back and forward as it should. I really should have spotted it sooner than I did. I spent ages trying to see what was going on, but never mind, got there in the end. So I've given it a good clean out and got rid of the excess oil, greased up the gears, and it runs as sweet as a nut now. So yeah, good result. So I'll get this packed up and sit back to Chris, then you can take it to the club and show the guru. Okay folks, catch you later.